Before dawn touches the fields of England, her suffering has already begun. In the year 1408, beneath a sky heavy with cold mist, a woman opens her eyes inside a narrow timber cottage long before the village wakes. Darkness still blankets the land. The weak orange glow of dying embers trembles against smoke-blackened beams overhead, while icy wind whispers through cracks in the wooden walls. Beside her, a child sleeps beneath rough wool blankets, unaware that another day of endless labor has arrived. Quietly, she rises from the straw mattress. The frozen earth beneath her bare feet steals warmth from her body instantly. She wraps herself in a coarse wool cloak worn thin by years of hardship, then kneels before the hearth. With tired hands, she feeds splinters of wood into the fading ashes and breathes carefully into the fire. For a moment, nothing happens. Then sparks awaken. Small flames slowly begin to crawl across the wood, pushing back the darkness inch by inch. Here, fire is not luxury. It is survival. Without it comes sickness, hunger, and death. As light spreads across the cottage, the shadows reveal hanging tools, rough wooden bowls, and walls stained black from years of smoke. Outside, somewhere beyond the mist-covered fields, a rooster cries into the cold morning air. The village is beginning to wake. She lifts a wooden pail and steps into the freezing dawn. Mud clings to her feet as she walks the narrow path toward the communal well. Around her, other women move silently through the gray morning, their faces worn by the same endless cycle of labor. Their conversations stay low and practical. They speak of failing crops, sick animals, endless rain, rising dues owed to the manor. No one speaks of dreams. The thick rope creaks loudly as she lowers the bucket into darkness. Her hands burn red from friction while she hauls the heavy water upward. Even now, exhaustion has already settled deep into her bones. Balancing the pail carefully against her hip, she returns home through the damp morning fog. Inside the cottage, the fire finally burns steadily. She kneels beside a hand quern and begins grinding barley between heavy stones. The slow circular rhythm fills the room like a heartbeat. Grinding, turning, breathing, repeating. The sound never truly leaves her life. She mixes coarse flour with water, shaping rough dough beneath practiced hands before pressing it against a heated stone near the hearth. Soon, the smell of baking bread fills the cottage. Children begin stirring from sleep. Small hands are quickly given small tasks. One gathers wood. Another sweeps dirt from the floor. Survival is taught early here, not through kindness, but necessity. Outside, cattle groan softly while cartwheels rattle over uneven ground. Across the village, doors creak open one by one as another day of labor begins. Her husband sharpens tools for the open fields beyond the hedges. Before he leaves, she places bread and watered ale into his hands. No words are wasted between them. There is too much work waiting beneath the rising sun. Golden light slowly spreads across narrow strips of farmland divided by ancient custom rather than ownership. Soon, she joins the fields herself. With skirts tucked for movement, she bends beneath the widening sky, pulling weeds from damp soil row after row. Her fingers are cracked and calloused. Her back aches long before midday arrives. Still, she continues. She watches the clouds constantly. Too much rain means rot. Too little means starvation. By midday, bread and cheese are shared beneath open sky, while tired voices drift between workers. Conversation circles endlessly around harvest yields, taxes, and grain owed to the lord of the manor. Every harvest feeds someone above them first. When the short meal ends, labor begins again immediately. She gathers fresh rushes to spread across the cottage floor. Nearby, shallow pans of milk rest quietly while cream slowly rises to the surface. Carefully, she schemes it away, already planning for butter and cheese needed during winter. Nothing can be wasted. A spindle turns skillfully between her fingers as wool twists slowly into thread. Sunlight slips through a tiny window, catching dust that drifts through the air like pale smoke. Spinning means warmth during winter. Spinning means trade. Spinning means survival. If fortune allows, extra butter or eggs may be carried to a nearby market town. In return, precious salt might preserve meat through colder months ahead. Every small exchange pushes hunger a little further away. Then suddenly, a child coughs. Her attention shifts instantly. She reaches for dried herbs gathered from nearby hedgerows. Remedies passed through generations of women long before physicians ever reached these villages. Healing here belongs to mothers, not doctors. Far across the fields, the parish bell begins to ring. Its hollow sound drifts over the countryside like a reminder from heaven itself. For a brief moment, she bows her head and whispers a quiet prayer. Faith is often the only certainty people here possess. As afternoon fades, cold winds sweep across the village carrying the scent of smoke, damp earth, and animals. Before darkness arrives, she gathers hens into their coop and secures the goat tightly against wandering predators. Her eyes scan the darkening tree line carefully. Danger hides easily in wilderness. Inside the cottage once more, pottage simmers slowly above the hearth while firelight dances across timber walls. The family gathers close together as wooden bowls pass from hand to hand. She listens quietly while the day's struggles are spoken aloud. Exhaustion fills every voice. But endurance lives there too. After supper, she scrubs wooden trenchers clean using sand and water. Leftover scraps are carefully saved for tomorrow's broth. Grain is measured for the next morning before the night grows deeper. Nothing is wasted here. Not food, not time, not strength. As darkness consumes the village outside, she returns once more to spinning wool beside the dying fire. Wind presses softly against the cottage walls. The flames shrink slowly into glowing embers. At last, she lowers herself onto the straw mattress. Pain pulses through every muscle in her body, carrying the memory of another endless day survived. In silence, she listens to distant dogs barking somewhere beyond the fields, the restless shifting of animals outside, the cold wind brushing against timber walls. Sleep comes slowly, because tomorrow's labor is already waiting beyond the darkness. In 1408 England, her struggle never truly ends. Yet through exhaustion, sacrifice, and quiet endurance, she holds together the fragile thread between survival and ruin.